Good morning. Welcome to Mercurius Being. I am Amy Jensen here with your astro update for the upcoming Leo new moon, which will be exact on August 16th at 4:38 a.m. Central Time in the United States. Here is the chart. And as always, it's going to be a little different wherever you are. But this is the basic lay of the land. We have the sun and moon together as it is a new moon with Venus also in the mix, conjuncting. We have Mercury and Mars in Virgo, opposed by Neptune in Pisces. We have the North Node and Chiron in Aries, and they're forming a trine to this new moon. And then we also have Uranus and Jupiter together a bit wide up in Taurus. And Uranus, as you can see, has a lot of aspects to this lunation and a really tight square, 0 degrees, 16 minutes separating square to the luminaries at this new moon. All right, let's unwrap, unfold, something, all of this information. So let's start with the Sabian symbol from Lynda Hill's wonderful book for the degree for the sun and the moon, 23 Leo, 17 minutes, rounded up to 24 Leo. So the statement for this degree is totally concentrated upon inner spiritual attainment. A man is sitting in a state of neglect of his body. And I'm going to skip down to the oracle portion. There can be a feeling of imbalance at the moment. Some aspects of your life may be put on hold in favor of one central issue that is taken over. This can lead to a loss of holistic balance and possibly being misunderstood by others. Being so committed to spiritual or emotional concerns can lead to losing touch with more immediate physical matters, but it can lead to a higher state of spiritual being. Although spiritual concerns are very important during our lifetime, remember that we also have a physical life to lead. This symbol can show the opposite polarity, obsession with the body and physical fitness. As human beings, however, we are not supposed to concentrate solely on one or the other. We must strive to live equally in both. Our bodies, minds, hearts, and spirits are gifts to us and should be treated with care. When this symbol is around, it can also indicate people getting a high from not eating, through fasting, etc. It can lead to many physical problems such as eating disorders, etc. However, physical fitness can be achieved by directing the body to do things using willpower and focus. A sense of equilibrium is the key. So there's this sense of balance between the physical and the spiritual, not being overly physical and too much about your body, or not being totally too much spiritual and only being in the head. Did I say not being too much in the body? You know what I mean? Just overly identifying with one or the other. And so just taking care of the physical being, but in a spiritual, loving manner. And I know lately I've just been practicing even a more gentle form of yoga and just incorporating mantra as I do it, and just allowing myself to feel into each area and breathe into each area. So just kind of bridging those practices, which is definitely what yoga is. But I just notice, I mean, just in general for everyone, obviously, but I know for myself lately, it has been an even more dialed in practice of being gentle. So I kind of invite you to experience that as well. Or maybe bringing your physicality into your spiritual practice through walking meditation. So just finding your own unique ways to blend those two and bridge those two. Okay, let's move into the nakshatra, the area of the heavens where this lunation is taking place. And I'm just going to pretty much paraphrase from Komilla Sutton, then DiCara, and then Julene Louis. And then I'll kind of move into my own threading of all of this information. So the sun and the moon at this lunation are in the nakshatra Ashlesha. Ashlesha. And Ashlesha is the serpent, ruled by the Nagas or the dragons. It's ruled by Mercury. And we're talking a little bit about Mercury, upcoming Mercury retrograde. And the nakshatra Ashlesha is completely in the sidereal sign of Cancer. And at the end of that, it's really where the sun in Leo ruling, being ruled by the sun, and Cancer being ruled by the moon. It's the meeting point between the lunar and the solar in the heavens. So there's this sense of a bridging between the two. Being ruled by Mercury, there's a sense of bridging between the higher spiritual forces and the earth experience. This is from Komilla Sutton. Here the soul separates itself from one level of manifestation to move toward another. This is a great development time, an area to develop the mind. I'm sorry, I'm reading too many of my notes at the same time. And changes in the human psyche. So we have that lunar aspect meeting with the solar aspect. Ruled by the Nagas or the snakes or dragons, there is an energy of shedding one's skin, of transforming. There is an energy of ending one portion and, you know, making this clean break into the solar. So kind of an ending of one and a beginning of another. So a very cyclical energy, more so than at other times moving through this. In DiCara's work on this nakshatra, he defines the symbol as a coiled serpent. So just getting this imagery of the coiling and uncoiling, embracing and unembracing of energies. So this cycle. So this process of shedding the old skin can be painful. It usually is. It involves changing one's mind and evolving one's consciousness. So moving into DiCara's explanation of this Ashlesha, and again, paraphrasing, it has an inherent weakness toward deception and jealousy. It empowers humanity to embrace strong attachments and affections with enduring emotions and desires. So there's something about embracing humanity, embracing our human embodied experience, our attachments, our loves, our desires, being in the body, but at the same time, being able to release that and transform. It's the energy of really bearing great weight and responsibility toward those we love deeply. And again, then letting those attachments go and remembering that this is a temporary experience. So it is said that snakes are enemies of common people, but they never harm a saint. Ashlesha interests us in using our charms and charismas to enjoy life, but it also makes us favorable to the truly godly. Okay. And then from Julene Louis, the power of serpent wisdom is to inflict with poison, medicinally find the right dose. Okay. Venus is retrograde currently And today, as I'm recording this, it's August 13th, she will conjunct with the sun, closest to the earth. And then 3 weeks from now, Mercury will conjunct with the sun in its next retrograde phase. So there's this sense of these inner, more personal planets meeting up with the king of the heavens, the queen of the heavens, the monarch, the spirit, something larger than ourselves. And so it's a time really for having this intermediary bridging between energies, between heaven and earth, between our personal work and our desires, and then as we send them out into the heavens, meeting with the monarch, meeting with the center of our solar system, sending these out into the world, okay? On August 8th, Mercury reached maximum evening elongation as evening star, so farthest point away from the star. And then it will conjunct the sun exactly on the 6th of September. But the 3-day window is the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And so we're preparing for more inner work. Okay, that's what Mercury max elongation evening star is. We're preparing, we're getting rid of, we're releasing, and then Venus meeting up in the heavens, you know, adding our embodiment, our personal embodiment, and sense of beauty and inner wisdom and sense of balance and harmony out into the world, aligning that with something bigger than ourselves, or maybe simply just showing up as ourselves. We have at this lunation, you know, the sun and the moon are meeting, new moon, and we're just today having Venus and the sun meet. And then in 3 weeks, we're having Mercury meet up with the sun. So there is just a lot of energy from within, again, these smaller, quote unquote, personal planets that we're working with, the bridgers, okay, bridging within our own consciousness and then bridging with an external consciousness or sense of collective consciousness. So after this lunation on the 18th, so I didn't pull any more charts, but we have Mercury and Mars in Virgo at this Leo new moon, 19 and 22 degrees. On the 18th, the moon will join them. So it'll be the moon at 16 degrees Virgo, Mercury at 20 degrees Virgo, and Mars at 24 degrees Virgo. So I like that 4-4-4 interval, or 4 and 4 interval. And the moon on the 18th is very close at 16 degrees of the heart of these events of the Mercury retrograde cycle. So look into those events that happen. The moon, fresh from this lunation, may have some information for you from the monarch and bringing that back into ourselves. And then on the 19th, they'll switch positions. Mercury's at 20 degrees Virgo, Mars is at 24 degrees Virgo, and the moon is at 28 degrees Virgo. So again, 4 degrees separation between the two, but now Mars is in the middle. And then on the 23rd, Mercury goes retrograde. And again, we've already begun the whole cycle on August 8th, and then Uranus and Venus joined up on the 9th. So if looking back, August 9th, see what was going on in your life. And with Uranus playing a big part in this lunation, there's a lot of wild card energy. I just wanted to bring up also, so we have a grand trine going on at this lunation. So while Uranus is interrupting and disrupting the energy of the sun and the moon in Leo, which is conflict, bringing things to a head, there is a lot of available energy behind this. I wrote down like I was getting baseball imagery, like, so grand trine between Uranus and then Pluto in Capricorn, 28 degrees, and then Mars, Mercury in Virgo. So we have an Earth grand trine, so a lot of practical energy. I got the image of loading the bases, queuing things up for us. So there's just a lot of potential energy that will be available to us. There's like the Uranus energy is a burst out of the blue. It is from the subconscious mind. It is from out of thin air, all of which can feel or fuel the good work that is to be done. Okay. The operating system is the will. So we're talking about the operating system, the sun and the moon at the Ajna chakra. In Leo, the third eye, the will, the divine will expressed through you as an individual. Okay. Leo is all about creativity and light. Ajna chakra is about inner vision and imagination and intuition, spiritual insight, inner knowing, clarity, and understanding. So the two physical eyes can see the past and the present, but the third eye reveals insight into the future. It's an energy center which motivates us to move beyond our worldly desires and destinations where the two eyes are taking us, and to have a bigger vision. Okay. Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus rules the heart center. It rules the throat and it rules the singing voice. Leo rules the physical organ of the heart. It rules the cell. It rules the spine and your vitality. So at this lunation, and with Chiron trining the luminaries at this time, there is a great potential for healing things, okay? And this healing will come about through a release of resistance. And I got this image of resistance is going to like short circuit the system, like a zzz, zzz, like kind of like a bug zapper, I guess, just like short circuit things. So, but through that short circuiting, it'll release resistance. Okay. And then I got the image of like, then you're going to have to like clean out all the old electrical. I don't know if any of you have ever moved into an old house and had to redo things. But you know, God knows what used to happen, and I'm sure it was all up to code. But you know, if you look at the old fuse box or old circuitry, like you're thinking like, and I'm not an electrician, I've observed, okay, you know, how did that even happen? Like someone just put it all together, and so it's kind of gross and old, and the electrical tape is kind of gummy, and but yet at the same time doesn't stick, and then there's always like kind of this level of dust on it, but kind of the oily dust. Now it sounds like I've moved into a series of hovels, but at any rate, all of the old circuitry will need to be removed after it zaps out. So again, this gentle and loving practice that melds spiritual and physical, a lot of water. I want to say a lot of electrolytes as well, even though I'm not a medical doctor. This is just a little intuitive zip, especially if you're still in summer like we are. Okay, because that electrolytes, of course, helps body electrics. And with Uranus squaring the sun, there may be some attention needed there. Okay, so going back to Uranus in the heart center in Taurus and the sun and moon in Leo, I also got this idea, this feeling of, well, along with the Ashlesha energy of loving big, even if it hurts. Let yourself feel it. Understand that life is a cycle, a huge cycle with a capital C overall, made up of numerous little cycles with a small c, which play out within it. As one cycle ends, another cycle begins, wrapping and unwrapping, coiling and uncoiling, like a snake. Again, making that S curve throughout, which is again how sound moves too, right? Everything with that S curve. That image again of Uranus is zapping, but also like can also have the energy of like a laser. So burning out the old shabby systems. And then once you pull all that out, your existing body electrics will work even better. There'll be more clarity. And then through that clarity, your inner vision will have more focus and more clarity without the extra gumming up of circuits. Okay. And the same goes for our beautiful Mother Earth, clearing out all the old and sometimes very painfully, but remembering that out of this destruction comes rebuilding. Out of this chaotic destruction comes new growth. Now, there is a huge sense of loss, which accompanies this old and releasing and destruction. And don't skip that feeling of the loss and whatever feelings come up within you for that, because again, it's part of the feeling it, being in it, to allow you to move through it. Uranus is the great disruptor. It does go against the grain. It's in the heart center, the earth, the chance to disrupt our patterns, our thoughts, and our habits for our benefit, to progress spiritually, to shed the skin, to uncover the new, fresh glowiness underneath. But there could be some pain in the process. It's like an exfoliation, but maybe it can be a little intense sometimes, right? The lower legs and the heart of Leo, and the sun, and then the lower legs and ankles ruled by Uranus. And again, the pumping action of the calves, preventing blood clots, pump the blood back up to the heart. So lovingly elevating the legs, massaging the lower legs and the ankles. And then to help ease, clear, release any restrictions around the heart brought up through loss, through revisiting and experiencing all of that big love and loss. Let yourself circulate the breath in and around and through the physical organ of the heart, the back body, the back of the heart. And just give yourself that space as you do it. Give yourself the time. And then conversely, maybe you're not feeling this loss and this heartbreak. Maybe that's what is not coming up or is not alive for you. Maybe you're allowing yourself to unfold more greatly into more love and more happiness, a bigger embrace, bigger joy, the sense of hope, the sense of openness and flow, the sense of right timing. And really, right timing goes through for loss as well as gain, sadness as well as happiness, that trusting that, again, this is a cycle, everything is a cycle, and the flow will flow, and the timing will change, and the next cycle will begin. So again, Venus meeting up with the sun, the moon is meeting up with the sun for the lunation, and then Mercury meeting up with the sun. This sense of inner knowing, of inner wisdom, allowing those lunar habits, cellular predilections, the sun, the Venus embodiment, these conjunctions seeding and imprinting something within each of us. Something that is wanting expression outside of our inner experience, sent forth out into the collective. Uranus is disrupting, clearing away all the old false versions of ourselves so that the simplest, clearest, most connected parts of ourselves can shine through. The you that you are, that the world needs. Now, this could be a big you or a small you, seemingly small or seemingly big, right? That is what the world needs. And it's not this quality of being seen or unseen or fame or big Leo projection, but more like the quality of Leo that's authentic and heart-centered and wholehearted and inner vision aligned, right? Parts of ourselves really standing in that, okay? And how you find that is like what turns you on, what brightens your eyes when you talk about it, what makes you come alive when you're with someone and you're like, start talking about something that's just close to your heart, that's really you. What can you get lost in? What can you lose hours of your day doing? What makes your heart skip a beat? And viewing all of these things, what makes your heart skip a beat, what makes you come alive, with no emphasis or judgment or importance placed upon success or failure, money or no money in it. We're looking for a pure alignment with, I love what I'm doing. I love being in this state of authenticity. It means showing up as yourself, whatever that may be, wholeheartedly, with no shame and no apologies. Almost a sense of showing up expectantly or excitedly as yourself. Like, you're just, I got the image when I wrote this of like a little kid's birthday party, but maybe that isn't a great experience for everyone. But like, so just think sometime when you just went somewhere and you showed up and you knew you were at the right place at the right time, that you had loving and fun people around you, or just the right beauty of nature, whatever your scenario is. But you didn't have to try. You just put your clothes on that you wore, that were yours. And you had the right mood, you're in the right place, again, the right situation, the right timing, and like feeling like right in the glow, okay? Clear, light, engaged, expectantly, but with Uranus, the god of expect the unexpected, the god of curveballs, right? Go back to baseball. Just know that with Uranus involved, you're going to step up to the plate and just get ready to take a few swings, okay? You might knock it out of the park the first swing, grand slam, woo, you know, crowd goes wild. And maybe you don't. Maybe you run the count up, strike out, you know, oh, boo, but it doesn't matter because it's the whole experience, right? Because there's the learning involved, whether you hit the grand slam or you go down swinging. But the experience of that moment of fullness is what matters, okay? And now, just in closing, astrology, this came to me, astrology is not to be used to circumvent or to manipulate, in my opinion. It is used to give context to extract meaning from, to to detect patterns in our lives and our experiences. This Leo new moon offers us an opportunity to step inside our inner vision, our central columnal heart being, and align ourselves within ourselves. Align ourselves within ourselves. And as the sun rises on this new day, we greet it with our song. Just like a songbird, each songbird has their unique song, their unique pattern. We share our unique tonal, vibrational, resonant attributes. Just the right melody, just the right medicine. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful Leo new moon, and just thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Namaste.